Let me show you guys how I make my butternut squash soup. I added some calabaza squash as well, just to give it some variety. Now before we do anything, we're going to clean our squash with vinegar and water. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut open this butter squash and put it in the oven. We're going to roast it first. Be sure to de-seed the squash, okay? We don't need to keep those. And you just want something that looks a little something like this. So I'm going to repeat the same thing to the calabaza squash, taking out those seeds to make sure we just have the squash itself. And when I say this thing is hard like a rock, now putting it in the oven is going to change this entirely. So I'm putting the rest in the other pan, and then we're going to throw it in the oven to about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Y'all, I forgot to add foil. You want to add foil to this so that way the moisture can make it bake quicker. So please add foil to your pan. Once complete and you see that the squash is super soft and easy to scoop out, you're going to take it out the oven and just throw it into a container. I don't plan to boil or cook, make the soup until 2 days later. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-blend and mix everything, store it in the freezer, and get back to it once I'm ready. I just had a little bit of time today, so I said, let me go ahead and prep it. I always add 1 can of coconut milk for my soup, and I'm blending it to a nice consistency, throwing it in the container and throwing it in the freezer. Once done, it should look a little something like this. Ooh, yes, nice and creamy. Okay, it's time to start boiling this butternut squash. First, I like to saute some onions in a pan and make it golden brown. Next, we're going to add our chicken. I already prepped the chicken ahead of time. Y'all know me, I be prepping everything. Going to go ahead and add that into your pot. Give it a little stir. Now it's time to add our butternut squash to our mix. Took this out the freezer to defrost because, like I said, I made it 2 days prior. And I had so much left over that I can put back into the freezer and use again for another day. And so now I'm going to go ahead and add some spring water to the mix after I add my vegetables, just to make that consistency more liquidy, because I don't need my soup to be that thick. So that's me adding some water. And once you do that, now it's just time to season it up and make it flavorful. So this chicken butternut squash soup would not be right without some chicken seasoning, of course. So I'm adding some of that to our pot. Now, if you had some chicken broth, then you wouldn't need to add all this extra seasoning, but I used water to make my soup more liquidy. Of course, onion powder. Y'all go ahead and season your soup the way you want to. This is what I just prefer to use. I said, oh yeah, we need some spice. I love a little spice. And I'm like, that ain't enough. Let's open this up and get some real spice in there, because these crushed red pepper flakes give it the spice I like. You know I'm Nigerian, so you know we like a little spice. And then some curry, of course. I love my curry. And that's pretty much it when it comes to seasoning. And that's it. Mix it up like so, and you have a delicious, creamy meal. Like, this soup is the best. Now, y'all try it at home and let me know, because squash is real sweet as well. So I had the sweet, I had the spice, and I had the nice texture to go along with it. And it definitely filled me up. Try it at home and let me know how y'all like it. Okay, that's all I got for now. Till next time.